Now we are adding and subtracting rational numbers, and then we're going to multiply and divide rational numbers. So all you need to know is once you start seeing fractions, to add and subtract a fraction, the bottom number has to be the same. Meaning you cannot add or subtract unless 6 is equal to this 6. So this one has 3 over 6 minus 1 over 6. So we're just going to subtract normally on top. So 3 minus 1 is 2. And then we keep the bottom the same. Now let's say we had 3 over 6 minus 1 over 2. Well, before we could do this, we would have to convert the bottoms to equal each other. So 6 can stay, and here we're going to say 2 times 3 is 6, and whatever you do to the bottom though, you have to do to the top. So now this becomes a 3 over 6, which is fine. So that's all you have to do. You multiply the bottoms until you can get the numbers to equal each other. And then whatever you multiply on the bottom, you have to multiply on top, and then you just subtract or add normally on top and then keep the bottom number the same. So now we're going to multiply and divide rational numbers, and multiplying is actually the easiest thing, I think, for fractions, because you just multiply the top and bottom across. Now here I added a negative number, so you remember to keep it a negative if there's only one negative. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and we're going to put that over 6 times 2, which is 12. So there's your answer. So if there is one negative, your answer has to be negative. If there's two negatives, then that equals a positive. But you have to start remembering. I would even circle it. That's the main reason why people get these kind of problems wrong, is because they forget to add that back in. So that's why I put that there. Now dividing, it's a little tricky if you don't know, but once you do, it's fine. So you have 4 over 5, and then you're going to change the division into a multiplication, and then you just have to remember that you always flip like that. So then once you're there, then you just multiply across. So now you have 8 over 5. So for division, you turn that into multiplication, and then you just flip the second fraction. So there is a difference between adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing. So you need to learn those two, because in adding and subtracting, you have to make the bottoms the same. You leave it that number, and then you add or subtract on top. Multiplying, you just multiply across. Divide, you got to change the division into a multiplication and then flip the second fraction. So watch this as many times as you need to memorize.